Hey everybody, welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour. I'm your host, John the Bod, aka the Bod Father, and as always, we're bringing you guys awesome interviews. And today, it is an honor and privilege to have one of the members of the Ramones back on the show, Mr. CJ Ramone, and I also have my lovely co-host,
Crystal.
We're going to be talking to CJ about his new album called American Beauty. It's out now. You want to go check this out. He's got some awesome acoustic stuff out as well. And he's just a great performer. So, CJ, how's it going?
Going good. I actually just got back from the Salty Dog Cruise down in the Bahamas.
Oh.
Did a couple of appearances on that. So if I sound a little hungover, it's because I am.
Dude, it's all good. And plus, you're back to all this snow and shit, man.
Oh, yeah, it's beautiful. I love it.
First off, how's the chickens?
Good. They're doing good. They're doing all right. You know what I do is I put up plastic around the coop in the wintertime so that the snow don't blow in there. They got a little ground to scratch around on, so they're happy as they can be.
So if you don't know, ladies and gentlemen, CJ takes care of his chickens and proud owner of some full chickens. That's pretty awesome. What's impressed you the most about making a new album, American Beauty? What's caught your eye about it, if anything, man?
This one was kind of got done in a different way than I usually do it. I'm usually working on writing songs all the time. When I'm out on the road, if I'm sitting around at home, I usually got my acoustic guitar in my hands, and I work on songs pretty much constantly. So as soon as I'm done with a record, I'm usually on to the next one. But what happened with this one was we put out Last Chance to Dance in 2014. So I ran my usual thing, record little ideas on my phone, write down lyrics every once in a while. But when I sat down to start demoing the songs, I just found I didn't like a lot of what I wrote, or at least not in the way that I usually like the songs that I'm about to record. So I ended up scrapping the entire lot of them. I had about 16 songs, and starting from scratch. The problem with that was I was about 3 weeks to a month from the delivery date with the record company. So I had to, I just locked every night after my family got in bed, I locked myself in the basement with a pot of coffee and a bottle of Jack Daniels. And I spent the better part of the next 2 weeks just writing new songs and lyrics and putting it all together. And I got it all done in a 2-week time period, which is a record for me. Like I said, I usually do it over a long period of time, but definitely was an interesting way to do it. I don't know if I'd want to repeat it. I don't enjoy much of having deadlines and stuff. If I wanted to work with deadlines, I'd be working a white-collar job. But it was a cool experience, and I got the best batch of songs I think I've ever written out of it. So it must have been meant to be.
Do you think you'll probably just do something like do it yourself and produce maybe the next album possibly, or just go this way again?
Yeah, I like working with a producer. I like working with other people, that kind of like add something to it, bring something to it. And the guy I work with this time, Paul Miner, he owns Buzz Bomb Studios out in Orange, California. I worked out there with him, and he kind of understood what I was trying to do because, I mean, if you heard the record, it's kind of all over the place. It's got it's got a little bit of everything, and then I think this time. This album, more than any other album I've had, some country influence came through pretty heavy on it from some of the stuff I listened to back in the day when I was younger. So it's got a pretty widespread of stuff on there, and that's a tough thing to do with a producer. A lot of times you sit down with a producer, you have a vision of what you want the record to sound like, and everything kind of gets mixed and gets kind of geared towards the same thing. This album was a little all over the place, so you got to have a producer that knows that sometimes you got to go song by song instead of overall sound of the record. Mm-hmm. And that's what he did on this, and I ended up with a really great sounding record.
How much growth musically do you feel like you've gone through from being in Ramones to your solo album?
Oh boy. Lots and lots. I tell you, I'm the type of person. I always said I'm not like a genre fan. I'm a music fan. I like pretty much everything. I really do. I really like everything, And I was raised up on everything from country to my mom and dad got me into everything all the way up to the 60s and 70s stuff. And that's when I found, I started listening to metal and punk and all of that. But I feel like everything I write now, like this record especially, everything I've ever written and gone through has been a product of that. It's really all in. You can hear influence from everything I've listened to over the years. I've gone through a lot of it. I've gone through a lot of it.
Any songs off the American Beauty album that stand out more to you, CJ, than any, if possibly?
There's one song on there. It's a Tom Waits cover. It's a song called Pony.
Yeah.
And when we first recorded it, I liked it, but it just sounded like a standard kind of punk rock version of another song. But I'm a really big Tom Waits fan, and I really wanted to kind of pay respects, and I wanted it to get on the record. So I listened to it. I got it home, but I got it on the stereo on the car on the way on the way home from the studio, and I just got this idea that the mariachi trumpets would sound good in it, and I got in touch with my buddy Dave Hidalgo Jr., who plays drums for Social Distortion, because I knew he knew the guys from a band called the Bronx, who have mariachi trumpets in the band, and Dave put me in touch with those boys, and Keith and Brad, and I asked them if they'd be interested in doing it. They came on down to the studio and they wrote those parts themselves, and that song really comes across now as one of the strongest songs on the record. That one's probably one of my favorites. That one, and there's another one on there called Tommy's Gone, where it's just me and playing the dobro, and my drummer just banging on his floor, Tom with a tambourine, and it's a song I wrote for Tommy Ramone, just trying to just kind of some thoughts I had on him. Tommy was kind of the guy who built the Ramones. Not everyone knows that he was responsible for the look, the sound, everything. He was the guy, and I wanted to kind of make a point of that in this song, and it ended up coming out a really kind of haunting sounding song, and that's probably another one of my favorites on there.
How crucial is it for you to carry on the Ramone name?
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty crucial. I don't even like to think of it that way generally, but I'm really trying my best to keep the Ramones legacy alive, but also that style of music. Punk rock kind of changed a lot. It's got a different sound now and stuff, and I guess I'm trying to keep that that roots punk sound alive. And I mean, if you go back and you listen, there's some stuff that the Ramones did that definitely had some of the stuff they did had a kind of countryish feel and sound to it. Some of their acoustic stuff, like Questioningly and a couple other songs like that, and with the nice melody lines and nice harmonies and stuff, and that's really getting lost. It's to me, everything's kind of getting fast and I got some good melodies and stuff, but I don't know. I just, and not that any of that's bad. I like it all, but I just feel like I don't think that old stuff needs to go away. We can have it all. You can have the root stuff as well as the new school stuff. So that's kind of where I'm at, I guess. And it's not that I'm trying to write old school sounding stuff. I mean, that's just where I'm from. So
I think it's awesome that you're still playing and you're carrying on the name, because look, man, I mean, I know you're biased about this, but dude, if it hadn't been for the Ramones, and plus you and Richie, you guys adding on to the band and doing your thing, and plus now you're doing your own stuff, man, they wouldn't be no hardly punk bands to this day. So it to me, it's a must, and I appreciate it.
Yeah, it's gotta.
Yeah,
I don't know. To me, it's kind of too important of a thing to go away. It's like every other genre of music. It's like there's it's got the the roots aspect to it, and then you got the new school stuff, and there's room for all of it. You know what I mean? There really is. It's just you don't necessarily want to hear somebody trying to write root sounding stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You don't want it. You don't want somebody going out of their way to try to write it. You know what I mean? If that's what they feel, that's what they feel. But that's the beautiful thing about it, is that's just where I came up. That's where I'm from, and it's really easy for me to write that kind of stuff. And I feel like now I'm kind of with 3 solo records under my belt. Now I'm kind of really kind of hitting my stride and finding my creative, my own sound. You know that, and you can hear the Ramones influence in there, of course, no doubt. But like I said before, you can hear the influence, all the other influences that I've picked up along the way in my life. So it's kind of nice, man. I really like this record a lot. I guess it's kind of a little bit more mature, I guess you'd say. I don't know. I don't want to get all intellectual on it and everything, but it, to me, I think if you listen to my first one, Reconquista, and then listen to this one, or even this one against my last one, Last Chance to Dance, you can hear I definitely grew up a little bit in my songwriting abilities and just the things I sing about. So
what do you hope the fans take away from the new album once they start to listen to it and digest it, man? What do you hope they get from it?
I put a lot of heart into the record. I definitely did. This record's a really honest, heartfelt record. It's got humor in it. It's got everything else. None of it intentional, you know what I mean? I'm just writing what's on my mind, what I'm feeling.
Right.
And, there's a lot of sincerity in it. And if people come away feeling good after they listen to this record, and damn, they definitely should, because there's a lot of good stuff on it. That's what I hope they come away with. And even the title and the artwork, I felt like I had a much different album cover in mind when I first started it, and even a different title, and not that they were negative, but just maybe a little more aggressive. And I thought to myself, like, man, there's so many people throwing so much shit into the pot right now, man. There's so much stuff being stirred up, and just a lot of politics and stuff. Mm-hmm. And I really I figured I'd go in the other direction, and I'd go against the grain and say, just to put it in people's minds, like, hey, we ain't got it all that bad here. There's a lot of things to complain about. Yeah, sure, whatever. You know what I mean? But the fact of the matter is America is, before anything else, America's beautiful. The fact that everyone can have their say, do what they want to do, protest, counter protest, jump up and down, yell and scream, everything else, and still be Americans, and still with the art that we have here and the music that we have here, and even our culture. There's a lot of beauty in our country, and that's what I really wanted to try to make a point of, with the title and even with the songs too. So
good,
hopefully people will take that away from it.
What can fans expect at one of your shows?
Yeah, a good time. A good time. That's one thing, that we try to make sure every night we have a good time. And it ain't I don't know that we do all things all that much different, except that we really do play from the heart. We play hard, we play fast. We try to be as honest and sincere as we can, and make sure people have a good time, have a couple of drinks, have a couple of laughs, and go home feeling like they got their money's worth, and that they saw something special. That's really the whole point of what we do. But we put extra emphasis on it. We want people to leave smiling. We want them to leave feeling like they had a good time. And if we do that, then hell, we did our job.
I know this is the digital era of music that we're in, CJ. I know we embrace it, and we can't do nothing much about it, but do you like the digital era that we're in right now, to get albums out quicker and plus get music out quicker to the fans? Do you like this, man?
I've done records both ways. I've done, most of the time, I did them analog. Most records I've worked on have been analog.
Right.
The digital thing, it is quicker. It's easier to get a good quality sounding recording. There's a lot of things that have made it easier and made it quicker. You know what I mean? That's a given. That absolutely is. But I mean, I've seen, like, I worked with Ed Stasium. You look up Ed Stasium, besides his work with the Ramones, he worked on some unbelievably classic records in the 60s and the 70s, stuff that you would be amazed that one man could have worked with that many different bands and that many different styles of music. I watched him cut tape and piece it together, build entire drum lines for a song by cutting tape and piecing it together, splicing it together, and watch the way that he made some of the sounds on the records and doing guitar overdubs. And that man was an artist. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. That man was an artist. He had multiple skills, everything from technical to artistic, that he had to master to be able to do the things that he did. You ain't gonna find that now. That's a skill set that it just ain't necessary anymore. Machines took it over. You need a guy with a quick finger. Back then a punch in was difficult. You know what I mean? Like, just a punch in a part was difficult. that entire skill set is useless now. I mean, it's for people that are recording digital, and that's not to say that his ear or his ability to recognize great stuff or his ability to create great music is gone. But all those other things that he mastered over his lifetime by watching other masters do it, that's all gone. And it's it's kind of sad. It's kind of disappointing, but unfortunately in life, I used to be able to work on my own cars. Now I open the hood, I can't even find the oil stick.
Yeah.
So
true.
you know what I mean? It's just time marching on. That's how it goes. But the whole digital thing also is built for people who came up with and learned in a whole different way than I did or than Ed did when he was a kid. You know what I mean? They grow up with a whole different world and that's what recording equipment now is geared for. It's geared for those people who came up in that world. So it's you can get all sentimental about it and talk about the old days and everything, but the fact of the matter is that's just how it goes. Everything marches on like that. You always think, oh, it was better back in the day. And I mean, I just appreciate the old times just because it took more of an artist. It took more skill. It took somebody with a lot more than just knowledge of the machine and how to make it work. It took somebody with some real time in and stuff. So, I prefer the old method, absolutely, but that's where I came up. That's where I grew up. So naturally, I'm more comfortable there. Now I just sit back and watch the button pusher guys do everything. I play the music and they push the buttons, and it all works.
What do you feel like you guys bring to the table for music that's different from other things out there?
I don't know if I mean, the good thing about making music is this. It ain't necessarily the style of music that you're playing or even the sound. It's really what you bring to it from your life, your experiences, what you're singing about, how you're singing it, how what you're telling people. That's really what it is, right? You got a musical genre. You take a musical genre like hip hop. You got West Coast style. You got East Coast style. You got Southern style. I mean, there's a couple different styles within hip hop itself. And you got all different types of ways to rap. But basically, slight variations in the sound, slight variations in the beat, all that stuff it makes a difference. It does make somewhat of a difference. But it's the people who are actually rapping over it, their own experiences, what they're talking about, what they're trying to make you feel, what they're trying to make you relate to. That's what makes that's what gives you the experience of the music itself. It's still the human aspect of it. That's what it comes down to. So what do I bring to punk rock? I bring 30 plus years of living and making a living in the music business. And then all my experiences of being a dad, being a friend, having, writing songs about my friends who have died, writing songs about places I've been and things I've experienced. And I bring the same thing that anybody else brings. I just, my approach to it is to do it as sincerely as I possibly can, and in a way that when you sit down and listen to the song, you can listen to the lyrics and understand what I'm saying, and I can tell you in a way that you'll relate to it. I can put you in that time, in that place that I'm writing about. I can make you feel the heartbreak or the happiness or the melancholy that I felt when I was going through that. That's what I bring to it. I can't tell you that I write groundbreaking music that nobody else has done, or a style of punk rock that nobody ever thought of, or I'm an accomplished musician who went to Juilliard or anything like that. I can't tell you any of those things, but I can tell you I can make you feel what I feel. I can make you hear what I want you to hear. I can make you feel good at the shows. I can make you dance. I can tell you some things from stage that when I tell you them, you're going to say, I can relate to that. I've been through that. Mm-hmm. I know where this guy's from. That's what I bring to it.
I'm sure you still get this, even today. But what's it mean to you when you receive an email from a fan, or prior to your shows or after the shows, they'll come up to you and they'll tell you that, hey, Your music has pulled me through a tough time. It's gave me inspiration to overcome obstacles, or it's just made me to relax of the everyday bullshit that we go through. What's that mean to you?
First off, no matter how many years I got in the business, how many people I meet that tell me that, it always makes me take a step back and slow it down and listen for a moment, because I was in the same spot as that person was, back before I was in this business. And even now, there's some people I would like to meet, other musicians that I would like to meet, that I'd love to tell them, I got to tell you, man, I was in a tough spot. I heard this song and it really, really helped pull me through. It means a lot. When someone comes up to you and is willing to share a very personal thing, from their life with you, to not stop and hear that person out is just wrong to me. You know what I mean? Because even though I might have heard the story before, even though I might be in a rush to go somewhere, or I got a line of people who are waiting to talk to me, that one moment, you taking a couple of seconds of your time to really listen to that person can really affect their life, can really have an effect on them. You know what I mean? To let them know that, hey, I care about who you are, I care about what you feel, I care about what you've been through. You can really make somebody feel good. And if all it takes is a couple minutes of your time, a couple seconds of your time, and you can't do that, you don't deserve to be doing what you're doing.
Exactly.
You don't deserve to be doing it, because you are one thing that Johnny Ramone told me was, you need to always take time for the fans, because they make what you do possible.
Yes.
Without fans, you'd be doing it as a hobby, sitting in your living room playing music. But if those people have something to tell you that's important to them, with something to say to you, you need to take a minute to listen to them, because they make what you do possible. And that's one, I came into the band green. I came into the Ramones green. I didn't, Johnny was my mentor. He was my teacher. I took what he told me seriously, and I try to practice it and make sure I don't lose sight of it. I don't want to become jaded. I don't want to become a rock star. I don't want to, I don't want to be that guy. I want to be the guy that when people leave my show, they go, fuck, that was worth every penny that I spent. That was, I know, I want them to feel like they saw something special. Or if they met me, that they had my attention. And that when I shook their hand, I wasn't shaking their hand because I had to. I've shaken their hand out of gratitude, because I want to thank them for making what I do possible.
I just like to say, as a fan, ever since the first time I heard the Ramones, even when my dad got sick, he passed away in 99, that was a really hard time for me. That was a dark period in my life. And there were very few bands that I turned to escape, and the Ramones were one of them. The punk rock just made it, I don't know, the more angrier, I guess. But the punk rock, I liked it a lot. Plus, I was a metal fan too anyway. But
I was the same way. I was a huge metalhead.
Yeah.
Well, from when metal was the first genre of music I really found on my own and got into. But when I got into punk rock, the thing that I loved about punk rock was that it was really a bunch of outcasts, you know what I mean? But it was a place to belong. And that's, and the Ramones were pretty much the common thread through all the different crowds of people that I met. The Ramones were one of the few punk bands accepted in the metal community. You know what I mean? Everybody from Metallica to Danzig, to the Misfits will tell you they were Ramones fans. You know what I mean? Yeah. I've heard Dave Mustaine say he was a Ramones fan. I've heard tons of metal bands say they were Ramones fans. You know what I mean? So that the crossover from metal to the Ramones is not a big one. But that is a common story that I hear from people that when they went through rough times in their lives, that the Ramones got them through. Yeah. And that's a beautiful thing, and I never get tired of hearing it.
Yeah, so thank you, man. I appreciate it for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
So American Beauty is out right now, folks. Go out and pick this album up. You will not be disappointed. Crystal, would you like to add anything?
I just want to say thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on again, guys. I appreciate it.
How can folks stay in touch with you, CJ, buy this new album, buy some shirts, whatever? How can they do that?
It's available on at www.fatrecords. I think it's fatrec.com. That's what it is. They got the album up there. The vinyl comes with a digital download, as does the CD. You can buy it at the site. I don't know if they have any colored vinyl left, but we did a really nice red, white, and blue colored vinyl. That's a limited edition. That's pretty neat too. And all my merchandise, my T-shirts and everything is available through www.machetemfg.com.
Before I let you go, good sir, will you care to do a promo for the show?
Yeah, sure. Hey, kids, this is CJ Ramone of the world famous Ramones, and you're listening to BODS Mayhem Hour.
Everybody stick around. We got some great music coming up, and you only hear these interviews right here on BODS Mayhem Hour and Uber City Radio from my lovely co-host,
Crystal.
We'll see you next week. Thank you so much, CJ.
All right, guys, take care.